So this is the unedited editing of a book. I'm not going to edit the audio here. So we're just going to talk about the book. And our goal is to get through 5 chapters.
In an hour?
Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go.
So it starts with Robert Flax was naive. He's many other things too. Kind, diligent, dependable. But it's his naivety that made him miss the things that a better husband and father might know how to catch. He never claimed to be the best father, even when he was being one. Maybe if he had caught it, regardless, what does one do when the person you spent your whole life getting to love and trust fully is replaced and begins deceiving you? Do you decide to test their trust at every suspicious action, or is it better to trust still? And when things change and you don't see it, all one can do is hope the damage isn't too grievous. Excuse me. Robert decided to trust the woman he had married all those years ago because he's the type to trust. Robert should have noticed that he was married to the most brilliant woman in the world. Robert didn't think that he could have twins. Robert didn't know that when she did her experiment to open a portal to another Tokyo, she was actually opening a portal to an identical Earth with an identical Tokyo. Her portal wasn't big enough, though. All it did was create the copy of the planet and then scare them into a fight. Neither Robert nor our heroes expected our wife or mother to be taken over, or even replaced by an alien. But to one Robert it happened. His naivety blinded him, risking the fate of the galaxy. Neither Robert nor his wife is the hero of our story. It is in fact the twins, Renner, Otto, Izzy, and Hannah. Before either of the sets of twins were ever a possibility, there was Leslie, their mother, a woman who was too smart for her own good. Leslie had the heart of an artist, the mind of a strategist, and the compassion of a saint, and she knew it. She enjoyed using her power to help others connect. Her current hope is to make the world grow closer by crossing vast distances. If she knew she was pregnant, maybe she would have sent her research aid in, but it wouldn't matter. Much like her husband, she was a genuine and good person. She knew that her husband was good. She knew that what she was doing was a good job, raising her child. She knew that she could make the world a closer place. Unbeknownst to her, all of these things would make the world grow close because they needed to defend themselves. Sadly, it was from an alien force manipulating one Earth into attacking the other. Unwillingly, Leslie became the voice on both sides. So that's the first part that I haven't edited. That all sounds good?
That sounds fairly polished. There might be some minor bits of editing we can do later.
No, you can worry about that.
Yeah.
On to the next bit. So before either one of the Leslies could be replaced by a doppelganger, they both had to give birth to twins. On one side, Leslie gave birth to 2 boys, Renner and Otto. Renner came out screaming while Otto made no sound, instead peeing on the doctor. Strangely enough, everyone was laughing, including Renner giving up on all that screaming in favor of giggling with his family. On the other side, something different happened. Leslie gave birth to 2 girls. Hannah came out calm and serene, eyes closed. Then, when Hannah and Izzy came out, silent, also, the doctor began to worry. But as the nurse was handling Hannah and began to take the necessary tests, it made Hannah giggle. Izzy began giggling with her, almost like she felt it. The twins grew particularly close, supernaturally close even, seemingly able to anticipate each other's thoughts. Neither Robert or Leslie would have any idea the lives their 4 children would lead. We worked on that one recently.
Yeah, we did. Sorry.
And it's all good, I think. It's all pretty solid. We could put that above the edit line now, I think.
Yeah, that could be that's just
little
some
touches,
fine tuning and little touches.
And anyone who wants to say anything is more than welcome to say anything. We'd love to hear in the comments what you think about these characters, who they are to you, what they look like to you. Kind of explore it. But we can continue because there's a lot to get through. Mm-hmm. Renner got the first gift in the form of a big puppy bigger than him. In his youth, he found the name of this creature was Bunker, as he would hide inside her massive mane when things got to be too much. Spelled Bunkr. Probably because he was a child, but when you think about it, you don't often write a dog's name down. You don't write a dog's name down very often. Renner, Bunker, and Otto were inseparable. Renner was cautious in his personality and his demeanor, making him a great man and husband like his father. Otto was hungry. Bunker helped Otto get into the cupboards. Much like his mother, only she never had a sidekick helping her getting into the places where the honey was. This would only get them into more trouble. I gotta edit that. All right, and that seems pretty good with that little addition I changed. That little bit. Would you anything you'd add in there?
So the only thing is making him a great man and a husband like his father. Otto was hungry. Okay.
Much like his mother.
That,
I guess I could add that in there.
No, that's a good balance. That's a good balance. You know, you're tying them back to their parents, and I like that.
Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this.
No, you already have much like his mother. You don't have to add it again.
Well, I would have put it there, and then Bunker helped Otto get into the cupboards, like his mother. Only she never had a sidekick helping her get into the places where the honey was.
Right, but you have two sentences in.
I know, but I would remove it from the second one. Doesn't it fit better there with Otto was hungry?
Hold on, let me read it then. Much like his mother, Otto was hungry. Bunker helped Otto get into the cupboards. Only she never had a sidekick helping her get into places where the honey was. This would only get them into more trouble. That sound better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think you're right in that. So I would remove it from here. And I can actually just make that a comma. Make it a whole sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So that can go above the edit line. That edit line's getting further away. Okay.
And then jump.
Just before summer vacation one year, when he was very young, Otto was at school, and one of his schoolmates showed him something he had learned from his director father. Simply put, your 4 fingers and your thumbs, and it's like a little picture framed by you, he said. When Otto did it, though, he felt something else, like his fingers caught on something. He sensed trouble. He borrowed some caution from his brother and waited until he got home. When he pulled his hands apart, Renner was with him. Sitting on the same living room floor, they both saw Hannah and Izzy for the first time. They were playing patty cake, minding their own business, enjoying the solitude of their parents' distraction at the hand of the TV.
Okay.
And I actually changed some things in there.
That's fine. So the only thing I don't really, his director father, instead of saying that, saying his father who was a director.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me just... I'm sorry about all the silence. All the clickies. A little...
Just before summer vacation one year.
Oh.
Just before summer vacation. Oh, okay.
Just before summer vacation one year, when he was very young, Otto was at school with his... Okay, yeah, I was reading this one. This one's good except for... What was you...
I was just going to reread it while you were typing. I was just going to fix it while you were typing.
The part Renner was with him. They were sitting on the same living room floor. I don't have to put same there. They were sitting on the living room floor when they saw Hannah and Izzy for the first time. There's some grammatical errors in there all over the place.
They saw Hannah and Izzy for the first time.
The girls were playing patty cake.
On a similar living room floor.
Oh yeah, true. All right. And we can call that good. Move it above the edit line.
Aww.
What?
My side isn't.
So what happens here is actually a shift of perspective, which means I need some asterisks to kind of divide it up so we know we're coming from a different mind. So it says then, Hannah and Izzy were playing patty cake when out of nowhere the faces of 2 boys appeared looking at them dumbfounded. Then for the first time they all felt Hannah. She was curious and frightened, her emotions spilling out of her like glass being overfilled by the tap. The boys simply thought that all the emotions were theirs because they were scared and confused too. Otto closed his hands. Izzy looked at Hannah. At only 12 years old, Izzy knew who she was feeling and was able to explain that to her sister. It took Hannah aback that she was the only one who could be felt by the others, but with her sister's guidance, she began to understand it. And in fact, will come in great handy at school, where some heartless boys can be very duplicitous in regards to the other gender.
Okay, real quick. Okay. It feels like there's a jump in time here.
There's a change in perspective from Renner and Otto to Hannah and Izzy.
No, so...
But they're playing patty cake at the beginning.
Yeah, but they're not playing patty cake at 12.
Why not? Is that not reasonable? Should I change the number like 8?
Well, so when they're very young, so what's very young to you? When do you think Otto
like
first...
12? I guess that's the point I'm making here. Should I go lower? I don't know these things. I'm the girl who's played patty cake. Is it too old, 12? It could be 8. She can recognize and be able to communicate this with her sister.
I think it needs to be just a titch younger, because you're also...
8. I'm trying to get a number.
Oh, 8, yes.
Is 8 good?
8.
If I said 8 there, it'd be fine? It wouldn't seem too ridiculous, or...
Yeah, 8 seems a little better, because...
Is there something other than patty cake?
No, and
I
that's
just
fine.
threw something in there that girls like to play.
Yeah.
Like do while they're parents.
You could do,
are busy.
like, patty cake. You do cat's cradle. Cat's cradle would be great for 8 years old. Playing cat's cradle.
What would be good for 12?
Well, here's why I'm saying not 12.
I think I put 12 because of puberty.
Yes, because there's some time in between, and then puberty hits.
But 8's fine.
8's fine.
So we just change the number to 8. It'd be great.
Yeah.
8 is great. We learned it here. All right, so.
And don't make patty cake. We should change it from patty cake.
Yeah, well, whatever you want.
Cat's cradle.
Is that a better word?
Yeah, cat's cradle. You know what cat's cradle is?
Tell us in the comments if you know what cat's cradle is. We'll give them a second to type. I'll type too. Okay, go ahead.
It's a string game that requires 2 people.
Yes, that's right. It's like you can make the Eiffel Tower out of it or whatever.
Well, that's another different kind of string game. But it's a string game you specifically do. So Cat's Cradle makes sense for 8-year-olds because they're kind of exploring. Anyway, it makes sense more than patty cake. Patty cake seems more like a 4 to 6. You know what I mean?
And at 8 years old, a girl could probably emotionally understand herself if you can feel it coming from someone else. Can kind of understand that. Mm-hmm. It's a stretch.
It is a stretch. But here's the other thing. Hannah looked at Izzy at only 8 years old. Izzy knew who she was feeling and was able to explain it to her sister. So Izzy was able to explain to her sister that she was feeling Hannah. That's what we're saying there.
Yes, Izzy can feel Hannah. Okay. And she knows it. Okay. And she's able to explain it to Hannah. And then the comment at the end here, which I think I did wording greatly, it took Hannah aback that she was the only one that could be felt by the others, but with her sister's guidance, she began to understand it. And this is the line. In fact, it will come in handy at school where some heartless boys can be very duplicitous in regards to the other gender.
Yes.
That is such a great way to say it. That is damn near perspicuity.
Yes. But here's a thing. So it took Hannah aback that she could be felt by Izzy, because she doesn't know that she's being felt by anybody else.
Yeah, but Izzy is anybody else. But you're right. I guess no, Izzy isn't. Izzy's her sister. What am I thinking?
Because
she didn't know the boys could.
Yeah, she didn't know that
then the boys didn't either, because they were feeling the same thing.
No one knew
confusing.
that only Izzy and Hannah think they have that connection.
Leaving the girls confused. So I also added that. So you're changing the perspective, and I say Hannah and Izzy playing Cat's Cradle when out of nowhere, the faces of 2 boys appeared looking at them dumbfounded. Then, for the first time, they all felt Hannah. I think that's a problem.
No, I don't think that is.
I don't think they all did. No, they all did, and I explained why the boys didn't.
Yeah,
that's
the boys didn't notice it, and
she was curious and frightened. Her emotions spilling out of her like a glass being overfilled by the tap, which is, just more. That's what's happening. She's just spilling out of her. The boys simply thought that the emotions were all theirs. That's though, not thought. Simply though all the emotions were. Simply thought all the emotions were theirs because they were scared and confused as well.
Otto closed his hands, leaving the girls confused. Izzy looked at Hannah at only 8 years old. Izzy knew. Okay, hold on. Izzy looked at Hannah at only 8 years old and knew who she was feeling and was able to explain it. Oh, knowing.
So where was I? Hannah.
Izzy looked at Hannah
at only
8 years old.
8 years old, which didn't put the 8 there for some reason.
Knowing who she was feeling and was able to explain it to her sister.
Knowing who she was feeling.
Knowing who she was feeling
So
and was able to explain it to her sister.
Who she was feeling and able to explain it to her sister. It took Hannah aback that she was the only one who could be felt. Well, she can't feel Izzy.
Right. That's what you would say. Because she doesn't know that she can be felt by the others.
So what if she was the only sister?
They don't know that either. They don't know who those boys were.
But...
yeah. Okay. So my idea is that...
One of them?
That she was taking it back.
Was the only one of them that could be felt?
Yeah, because she couldn't feel Izzy's.
And then the others... But with her sister's guidance, she'd be able to understand it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it comes in handy because if Hannah gets hurt in school by a boy, Izzy knows. And Izzy can come save her.
Izzy can kick butt.
In fact, you could write a scene in here where that happens, just from that statement. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Meanwhile, Otto tried again, except this time Renner had his hand on Otto's shoulder. And instead of the power coming from him, like always, it came from Renner's hand. He looked back at his brother, who was staring in awe at the portal that yawned open before them. This was different than the other place. Renner's mind tingled as he stepped in. The portal opened to an infinite white space. Opened to a white... Oh, goodness gracious. Let me try this again. The portal opened to an infinite white space. That is until Renner took a step in. When he decided to take his first step in, he was remembering the time he first came home to where they were living. He remembered stepping on the gravel out front. It sounded like the tingling in his head that he felt. And around his first step in the white room, appeared some gravel from the flower beds in front of the house. Then as he took another step, he remembered the last time he was reading on the floor in his living room. The book was so interesting. His next step stopped on some carpet from his living room, exactly where he had liked to sit and read. The school appeared in his head next. Playing out on the blacktop with Otto and his other friends at school, the third step revealed some blacktop from recess. The sound of children running and playing began to sound, and he began to understand it. This room was his. Anything he wanted would appear. None of it is in any way real, but at least it's entertaining.
So, other than you reading it with some disinterest because you've read it 17 times.
Do I sound disinterested?
At one point you were like, okay, let's get past this.
It's hard to do it all. I'm not very good at it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll get better if I keep doing it, right?
Yeah. But most of that sounds really good. It seems put together. It doesn't feel like it needs a lot of fixing. So
I did some off editing and I didn't type it in.
Off editing?
Yeah, some editing where I spoke the editing instead of writing it. Instead of just reading what was written.
That's okay. And
I think I want to change the tingling to the bladder feeling.
Okay. Yeah.
So where is it? Where's the tingling?
He remembered stepping on the gravel out front. It sounded like the tingling in his head felt.
Well, what if it was both?
You can have a little bit of tingling.
It's more about the use of the bladder. The longer the bladder is in use, the quicker he has to pee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. So he can't stay in there long.
But also,
he can hold it open.
This is like the first experience with this, and so you can, most of the time, you'd feel something changing in you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that still feels fine.
Okay.
Because this is all fuzzy and new to him.
They forgot all about the girls. But the girls didn't forget about the boys. Hannah knew she was sending them her emotions.
How would she know?
I think she knows. I think it's a part of her power. I think she knows, but at 8 years old, maybe she wasn't aware of it yet. And after only seeing these people, she didn't know who they were. And now as they're getting to know each other, right?
They don't know each other yet. The boys have forgotten about the girls.
So then my statement didn't make any... It made sense in the end. It wasn't... She knew she was sending it to the boys. It's just that the boys didn't know.
Well, okay. So... They could...
The statement we made still fits, though, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go back and fix anything yet.
But this could be removed, couldn't it?
What's that?
No, because this is a good joke. This is in the... There's some time gap here that I'm not addressing. She has to be older now.
Yes.
As time passed, they forgot all about the girls.
Yes.
That's what's missing.
That's what's missing.
Oh my god.
I wonder if this is what's going on with the keys not working.
What? I don't bang on them. So as time passed, they forgot all about the girls, but the girls never forgot about the boys. Hannah learned she was sending her emotions. How about that?
Yes. Because she's got to feel some tug of theirs. Just not enough to do anything with, but just enough to... You know what I mean. I don't know what I'm saying.
I put it in the wrong place. What the heck? What? Okay, I'm going to go back there.
I'm getting loopy.
Okay. Okay, be careful. The Cheesy Loops is getting loopy.
Loop, loop.
So Hannah learned.
Hannah knew she was sending them her emotions.
There you go. She was sending the boys her emotions, right? The boys, specifically. I don't think she's talking about Izzy, because the boys forgot about the girls.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Is that a new word in the English language? Nibbit. Nibbit.
She would comment. I think monthly would be better. Sorry. She would comment monthly about how her periods must be affecting them. They were boys, so they had no clue. It seems as children, we feel and look for others to tell us how we're feeling. But when their mother and father became lost, she sent them to counseling. And the counselor...
Because you said their mother and father. So it would be they sent them to counseling.
Oh, good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should fix that now.
Yeah, if it takes 2 minutes, might as well get up and do it.
That's wise words.
I wonder who told me that.
They sent... Should I say the boys? They sent... Let's do that, because if we're going to use they... She sent the boys to counseling. The counselor was lost too, though. But he helped the boys reckon with their emotions. That is until Izzy found her power. I think we're going to have to call that done, then. If we're done. Where was it? Because this is actually a different paragraph, I think. That is until Izzy found her power. Then we'll do that. Move. Unless there's something about that we need to change.
So far, no.
Just a little bit, anyway.
And as a woman, I would say monthly is probably not the right word.
Is it mean?
Often.
But
because
you only have it once a month. It happens monthly.
Yes, but how much do my emotions change throughout the month?
This is Hannah, though.
This is Hannah.
Hannah's supernaturally calm.
Yes. This is Hannah. She's supernaturally
calm.
calm.
She's the one that's able to survive what's going to happen to her.
Anywho.
Foreshadowing.
But I have my eat week, and I have my grumpy week, and then I have hell week.
That's the period.
That's the actual, yeah. And then I have calm week. And so for a month,
Okay, I'll just change it to often.
Often.
I'm not a woman, so I really don't have much room to speak here.
Just saying.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. As a woman,
I agree.
Often.
So, it happened when she was having a nightmare. Should I change that to Izzy? Because it says Izzy found her power.
Until Izzy found her power.
Yeah, and then it says it happened when she was having a nightmare.
A
particularly horrific nightmare.
Thank you.
This is a big, long nightmare. In the dream, she's being chased. Actually, it's not as long as the next one. In the dream, she's being chased by countless spiders, to which she has a crippling phobia. In the dream, she ran faster than she could run in real life. She was running through a forest when suddenly she saw a large chain. And then... She saw a large chain coming out of her. Then she tried tugging on it, but it didn't move. The spiders began to surround her. She tried to run, but the chain held her in place. Then, as if moving a muscle for the first time, she began pulling it in. At the end was Hannah, wearing armor and a halo faintly glowing above her head. When she awoke, Hannah was asleep in the bed, unsure of how she got there.
Now, hold on.
We could pause it right there.
Yeah, pause it right there.
That's a lot of sayings.
That is a lot of sayings.
Okay.
Alright. Happened when she's having a particularly horrific nightmare. In the dream, she was being chased by countless spiders, to which she had a crippling phobia. In the dream, she ran faster than she could in real life. She was running through a forest when suddenly she saw a large chain coming out of her then she tried tugging on it, but it didn't move. The spiders
tried tugging on it with her hands.
Yeah. The spiders began to surround her. She tried to run, but it held her in place. Then, as if moving a muscle for the first time, she began pulling it in.
Pulling the chain in.
Yeah. At the end was Hannah, wearing armor and a halo faintly glowing above her head.
Wearing silvery.
Yeah, except for switch silvery and wearing.
Oh, whoops. Silvery wearing armor. She was doing it silverly.
And then silvery. And then this is where I'm going to change.
Okay. Shining armor? Shining armor would be better. And a halo glowing faintly above her head.
When she woke up...
When Izzy woke up, yeah.
When Izzy woke up, Hannah was asleep in bed, unsure of how she got there. If she was asleep, how was she unsure how she got there? So
well, she would assume the first or second time that she sleptwalked there or something, or somebody brought her in.
So here's how I would word this: when Izzy woke up, Hannah was sleepily in her bed, unsure of how. Instead of asleep, say sleepily in her bed, wondering how she got there.
But it's like you ask her when she wakes up. That's the thing. So what I'm saying is, she found Hannah sleeping in her bed, and when she woke her, Hannah was unsure of how she got there.
Okay, that works better too.
Okay. We all know how important it is to be woke.
But you can't just say she was asleep, unsure of how she got there, because...
That's fair. But when he woke her...
Yeah, when you woke her, then she was unsure.
That's good. I can move that above the edit line. It didn't take long. After the third nightmare, she figured out how to winch her sister awake. Then, after Hannah wouldn't stop talking about the boys, she winched Otto, who panicked stepping out of his sister for the first time. Otto, who would never like the process of being shunted across worlds, did eventually get used to it.
Well, okay, so real quick, since you're typing. Otto, who would never like the process of being shunting across world, did eventually get used to it. Mm-hmm. He still doesn't like it, but he's
never likes the process.
Yeah.
But he also understands how important it is.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know it now, but he will. But it flows right, yeah?
That flows better, yeah.
Let me just edit line. Alright. Moving it up. Otto quickly learned to portal back home. Oh. There you go. Otto quickly learned to portal back home. Unlike Hannah, who was always along for the ride.
So what do you mean there?
By always along for the ride?
Like, unlike Hannah, who was always along for the ride.
Let me say it together. Otto would never like the process of being shunted across worlds, though he did eventually get used to it. Unlike Hannah, who was along for the ride. The sentences are backwards.
Okay.
Then Otto quickly learned to portal back home. Right? You see what I'm getting
Right.
at?
And then there's no talk of this. So you go to... in the next sentence we haven't read yet, you just go back to Otto and Renner in the bladder.
Mm-hmm. Right now we're doing Izzy and Hannah.
Yes.
We're flipping back in between the two.
Right, and you are going back.
And I make sure we know who's where, and this Otto being portaled in from her wenching is what is it called? Led into the next section, where now Otto is back with Renner, and they're spending time inside of what they call the bladder.
So,
which I'm going to have to explain is because he needs to pee after long exposure.
I feel like there needs to be...
Wenching makes sense.
I feel like there should be something of, while Izzy was learning her about her wenching. Wenching.
Mm-hmm. Wenching is when, let me just say it. I know you know, but I'm going to say it because people might be listening. Wenching is when you have a big ship and they drop the anchor. The wench is the thing they activate to pull the anchor back up. And so Izzy, if she sees that chain in her dream, and she sees the winch, she's the winch. She's pulling the chain in. Mm-hmm. And Hannah, her anchor is on the other side.
Yeah. So, but my thing here is that, like, while Hannah's... Because it feels like, you know, she pulled Otto.
She pulled Otto. Why did she do it?
Because Hannah was talking about the boys all the time.
He's like, okay, here, talk to the boys. You know, as he was pissed. She's like, just talk to him.
But then it's like...
Otto. She put a pull a Renner. That was the better option.
It feels like... It feels kind of like, does Otto never talk about this? Do they never discuss it? Is there anything like that?
What do you mean? What is it? This particular instance?
All of a sudden, he's winched across and he has to learn how to get back home.
So maybe that needs to be in the next section.
Maybe it needs to be in the next section. They talk about it because you talk about Otto and Renner.
There's something missing here.
Yeah, there's something missing about here.
And it has to do with Otto returning and... Or maybe they don't have the... Maybe they go into the bladder to speak.
Right, because that's a weird thing to talk about, and going into the bladder would be...
I hate that thing. It makes me need to pee. You know? I don't really want to go in there. I gotta pee all the time.
So it
gives me a headache.
So
unless it's him in there alone. Then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Having more people in there makes...
Having anyone else in there is like pushing on his bladder and giving me a headache.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so read the next one and maybe we can...
Well, I was thinking about extrapolating here. Say, Otto quickly learned to portal back home. But when he got home, he needed to talk to his brother.
Yes.
And he went to go tell his brother, who was in his own space.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when you can start talking about the bladder. You see what I'm saying? Where's your tennis ball? No, I want to play. Where is it? Where is it?
Can we just remember this? No one ever spells it I-Z-Z-I. It's always I-Z-Z-Y or I-Z-Z-I-E. It's never I-Z-Z-I.
Can you just add it to the dictionary?
I did.
Okay, good.
So I said it Otto quickly learned to portal back home by opening a portal to the middle space they call Renner's bladder. Because it makes him need to pee. If anyone's in there... This is the only one I have to come up with an explanation for their power. Because Renner is the bladder, and that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to call it a bladder.
Yeah.
But if somebody's in there and he needs to pee, that is a reason. But the periscope isn't a big deal.
No. The anchor is not a big deal.
The anchor is not a big deal. Well, the winching's a big deal.
The winching.
It's not a big deal to Izzy, though.
You hand me my purse. Thank you.
And then from that, I can say Otto and Renner spent countless hours entertaining themselves in Renner's bladder. Parents often thinking that they had left the house only to appear in their room after their parents had been looking for them. And Renner got another surprise. A young lady took great interest in him.
Okay.
Took great interest. No, I said this wrong. A young lady took... Oh, there you go. Katie. There we go. Okay.
So I have a little bit of a funky here.
What's going on?
Okay, so...
I said like a sentence.
I know. Okay, so...
Only for the boys to appear.
So, where it starts with Katie...
Oops.
And it says the sister they always wanted.
You haven't read that far.
I know, but listen to what I'm saying. The exact next paragraph needs to be shifted above that. So, so they should have the girls... Does that make sense?
You're ahead of me, and that's the problem. So Renner got another surprise. A young lady took great interest in him.
Yes, I was saying that also needs to be shifted down. After the girls.
I'm not sure what you're saying anymore.
Okay.
What needs to be moved? What's the last word? Last part.
So Renner got another surprise. Start there. And then...
Okay.
So bring that back down. Whoa. Yeah, that messed that up a lot.
Okay.
And now I'm not updating. And it says...
Katie, the young lady, found him and used him to escape a terrible situation at home.
Yes. So, instead of that being the very next paragraph, it should be, then when one day Otto pulled open the periscope.
Yes, but we haven't read that yet.
But here's why.
Go ahead.
Okay. Is because he's just come home to explain to him what happened to him. And do you see what I'm saying? So we should bring the girls in and then Katie. We should switch the...
So you're saying that this Otto and Renner spent countless hours...
That's fine.
That's in the right place?
That's in the right place because,
Parents thought... So this is all good.
That's good. So Renner got another surprise. A young lady took interest in him.
Let me just read it. Okay, I'm going to read to wanted there. The end of the paragraph.
Okay.
Katie, the young lady, found him and used him to escape the terrible situation at home. She would visit often because Leslie took an interest in her mother, who was clearly being abused. Katie was precious to her father, and it's too bad that when he killed her mother and went to jail, he lost the ability to keep in touch with his daughter, or keep his daughter safe. Katie didn't need the father. She had Renner now. Renner was in love before he truly understood what love is. He showed her everything. Otto wasn't sure, but in the end, Katie would be a valuable asset to the team, and they all began to love her easily. She fit right in. Izzy and Hannah treating her like the sister they always wanted.
Right, and then the very next paragraph is them talking about their first introduction to Izzy and Hannah.
So what's wrong with the paragraph I just read?
The paragraph you just read doesn't feel like it fits in the timeline.
It's an explanation. It's exposition.
It's introducing a new character before the main characters meet. Because then Katie put her hand into the portal, and it was nothing like there was nothing there. So it was explanation of Katie, and then them meeting Izzy and Hannah, and then Katie seeing the portal. Where I feel like they should meet Izzy and Hannah first, and then explanation of Katie, and then Katie's Hannah in the portal. Does that make sense?
I have to think about it real quick.
So
let me read the next section then.
Okay.
When Otto pulled open his periscope and expanded it into a portal, standing right in front of them were Izzy and Hannah, who were playing with two small creatures. Tiny little white sugar gliders with big, black, beady eyes. They introduced them to their new pets. Kama was Izzy's. She was silent and loving and enjoyed solitude in Izzy's pocket, and Apostrophe was Hannah's. He was curious and loved jumping around and exploring these cute creatures. These cute creatures are the sweetest gifts the girls will ever receive.
Yes. So that...
You're just saying do this, basically. You were 2 paragraphs ahead. I hadn't read either of those paragraphs. You were ahead. I needed to read them first for them.
And well, yes.
For you guys.
And the reason why I was trying to say this,
You were getting ahead, though.
I was getting ahead, and I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry for it. I'm just making sure you're aware that's the problem. Was that I wanted to make sure that they had heard all of it that you were trying to describe. That's all.
Okay.
But they hadn't. You were getting ahead. I needed to say it all first before we can edit it, so that they hear it.
But I couldn't let you finish it, putting it in the editing side if I didn't feel like it was done.
You can because it can move back to the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. No, just because I'm moving things doesn't mean it's permanent.
Okay.
Okay.
And then before we move on,
let me read it again.
Okay.
Because I got to start from here. It didn't take long. No, that's the nightmare. No. Otto and Renner spent countless hours entertaining themselves in Renner's bladder. Parents often thinking they had left the house only for them to appear in the room after hours after their parents had been looking for them. When one day Otto pulled open the periscope and expanded it into a portal, standing right in front of them were Izzy and Hannah, who were playing with 2 small creatures, tiny little sugar gliders with big black beady eyes. I've got to do it the other way. Big beady black eyes. You cannot put big and black after each other in any kind of way and be serious. Big beady black eyes. They introduced them to their new pets, comma, who's Izzy's, and apostrophe, who's Hannah's. Anyway, go ahead.
How do you have big beady eyes?
Beads, like beads. Big beads.
Okay.
Beady. Big beads. Like a big bead. Shiny little object in his ear.
Okay.
They do have big beady eyes for their creature. They're big eyes for the size they are.
You're right. Okay. I just had to make sure that made sense in my head.
Then Renner got another surprise. A young lady took great interest in him. Katie, the young lady, found him and used him to escape a terrible situation at home. She would visit often because Leslie took interest in the mother, who was clearly being abused. Katie was precious to her father. It's too bad that when he killed the mother and went to jail, he lost the ability to keep his daughter safe. Katie didn't need her father anymore. She had Renner now. Renner was in love before he truly understood what love is. He showed her everything. Otto wasn't sure, but in the end, Katie would be a valuable asset to the team. They all began to love easily. She fit right in. Izzy and Hannah treating her like the sister they always wanted.
Okay.
Then,
hold on.
Well, that was I edited in on the fly there.
Okay.
With my mouth.
You edited with your mouth. Okay, so who would abuse Katie? Because that is not clear.
The father.
The father abused Katie?
Well, the father abused the mother. And by abusing the mother, you're abusing the child.
Yes.
I mean...
But then the father wanted to protect her?
Yes. Loved her dearly. It was precious to her. Precious to him. He's not a good man, but he can still love his daughter and find it precious. And find her very important to him. But when he killed the mom... I mean, she shouldn't be around him. He's violent and dangerous.
It just seems very confusing to me, at least.
Is it in the wording or is it in the story itself?
Well, okay, so she would often visit because Leslie took an interest in her mother, who was clearly being abused.
Yeah.
Katie was precious to her
she'd
father.
Invite her over to her house and say, "Come have dinner with me," when the husband wasn't around, and she could talk to her and try and maybe get her out of a terrible relationship that she never really could.
Okay.
She died there.
Why was the father abusive to the mother
I have no clue.
Not Katie? That's the interesting...
But Katie was precious. Katie mattered to him. He didn't give a shit about the mom. He was a bad person. But he cared about Katie.
Okay.
That's why he didn't abuse Katie. The mother was just some person to him that he could abuse, apparently. I don't know. None of this shit makes sense. You should never hurt people. Like, it doesn't make sense to use violence.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Like, you shouldn't use violence to hurt somebody with your language. You shouldn't use violence to hurt somebody with your emotions. Those can all be violent. Just like hitting somebody.
But wouldn't he see that it was hurting his daughter, ever?
I'm sure he did, but I don't know the mind of a man who would do that. I can't look into it. So I'm just saying he did it. And that's why Katie didn't want to be around. And maybe she was. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe she never said anything about it. I know that in the next book, she's a really important character.
Yeah.
Like one of the most. And she may be actually the key to saving everything. I'm not sure yet. But
okay.
It looks like she might... Because she stands outside of them, but is a part of them, in a way, you know? She's different.
It's okay.
And important.
And it's something we could probably bring up later and figure out better. But after talking about common apostrophe, there should be something about how Izzy and Hannah and Otto and Renner get a little closer before Katie. And you can use that, like, star it and say...
So, I can actually fix that really quickly.
It should be right above the paragraph where it says...
No, I was thinking... There we go.
So it would say... Otto and Renner spent countless hours entertaining themselves and their sisters in Renner's bladder.
No, because they haven't introduced themselves to them yet.
No, that was the introduction. Remember, she pulled Otto over.
She pulled Otto...
And so now they can have the conversation and they can connect. That's all that needed to happen. I don't need to describe that happening for that to be understood, do I? Like, it can be understood that if Renner and Otto would allow them into their bladder, that there must be some kind of connection being made. That it's like, that's the first step. And you see the first step, so the next steps happened, because they're supernaturally close. You don't really need to wonder if they can connect.
But how do they know that they're siblings?
Because they have the same mom and dad? That's when they would learn it. This is when they would learn all about each other. And then the fact that they're sitting in the same living room, in the same house. There's some weird stuff going on. They eventually figure it out. I don't need to describe that, do I?
I feel like on some level, yes, you do.
But and themselves and the girls in Renner's bladder isn't enough. Occasionally inviting the girls or something like that.
Not
often.
Okay.
Often the girls often join in or something like that.
So, yes, your timeline before is kind of choppy, but it makes a little sense when we were trying to. But this is where the timeline gets really chopped. You're really chopping the timeline here.
It's the end of it, though. It's almost over. They're teens. They'll be 18 soon, and then start the story.
How old are they when Otto gets first wenched?
12. 17. What do you want to hear? You know, it's after 8. I can guarantee you that. Probably just 8, honestly.
No, because it can't be after. It has to be after like 12.
With how many times she's going to winch these people, you think they would just be used to it on the second or third?
Some people never get used to it.
I mean, how would you know? You've never been winched.
Have you seen some of the people, like, in any show or movie that someone gets teleported, they never get used to it. I mean, I watched a short the other day.
No, I think Renner is used to it. I think Renner likes it. And I think so does Hannah.
Then that's fine.
But I think Otto it's his power to go through the portal. So she's like using his power, and it makes him a little uncomfortable, I think. Like, he shouldn't be able to get to that other part of the world unless he does it. It's his choice, but it's not. Izzy chooses. Yoink.
But I'm not saying a big, long explanation.
I'm trying to figure out how to fit it in. And I want to keep it as concise as possible because this is just the first chapter.
You can say this is the moment when they learned that they were siblings on different Earths. Because right now, there's no different Earths.
Yeah, there is.
No, the twins don't realize that they're different Earths. How do they know it's different?
How can you have the exact same house with the exact same parents?
They saw a split second of it. They didn't...
No, I'm saying that once the girls are invited into Renner's bladder, they know everything. They've talked about it. Their communication
exactly. So when they first periscope into the girls and they're sitting there playing with the
cat's cradle.
No, not the cat's cradle. I'm talking about sugar gliders.
After that.
Yes.
This is when they open the portal for the first time.
The portal for the first time. That's when they discover there's 2 Earths, and they are technically siblings. Well, they are siblings, but
they're the same person. Siblings isn't even the right person. The 2 girls are the 2 boys. They are. And siblings isn't even the right word. Mm-hmm. This doesn't happen in real life. There's no word for this.
But like after they open that first portal, that's all you have to really say is.
Tell us in the comments if you know that word. I would love that word.
What word?
the word that's twins on either side of the universe, what that relationship would be. Cosmic sisters, cosmic friends.
But like after they open the portal and they see them playing with the sugar gliders, that's when they become in communication. All you have to do is...
Actually, I would say they've been in communication for a while. This is them... The sisters wanted to show the brothers their new gift from their parents. It's their sisters because they're the girls.
They've never... never in this thing do they have a full conversation and meeting.
No, I can't do that until the story starts. There's no dialogue until the story starts.
You don't have to say dialogue.
I'm not sure what you want now.
Okay.
What do you want me to put in?
Well, okay, so at 12 years old, while Hannah's going through puberty, the boys don't understand what they're going through. The parents don't understand what they're going through. So at 12, the boys don't understand why they're having all these emotions. Until
they meet the sisters.
And when do they do that at a full concept?
They've already done it. That's the thing. I can't write that scene too. I can't put that scene in here because it requires dialogue. Because it requires them to talk to each other. And I'm not doing that yet. That's not until the story starts.
But the story starts at them already knowing each other.
Yes.
Okay.
So we get to imply it.
But you're not... It's like you're not...
I'm not grasping what you're saying.
You're not grasping what I'm saying. The boys don't understand why they have all these emotions. At 12.
They go to a counselor, though. And the counselor talks to them and helps them through the emotion.
Yes.
And then they meet their sisters. And then they realize, oh, this is what's going on.
But you never laid that out. Never even said...
You've said that this sentence isn't enough. Otto and Renner spent countless hours entertaining themselves and their sisters in Renner's bladder. And their new sisters. So that they have time to communicate. I can't put the words there. That's the thing. I can't put those words there because that's a story in its own right. And I'd have to write a whole paragraph about what happened.
Okay, so this is where my misunderstanding
is. And I don't understand why this isn't enough.
My misunderstanding is I thought the first time that Izzy wenched Otto was... Okay.
That was the first time that she'd ever wenched anyone besides Hannah, and when she did, Otto created a portal, went back to his brother in his bladder, and then let the sisters in. And said, let's talk. I don't know what else... I don't know what else to do. I feel like the only solution to what you're providing is dialogue. That's the problem here. There isn't any other solution outside of dialogue. And that dialogue doesn't need to happen. Because when you talk to them when they're older... They're going to talk like they've always known each other. They're going to say things about what's happened in the past.
Okay. I understand. But as a reader, so far, what I've read was they have these random happenstances, and then all of a sudden Otto is pulled over for the first time ever.
Let me just try reading it again. Just the whole thing.
Go ahead. I wasn't...
Oh, you weren't done. I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt you. It's just like, you're talking about something, and I don't know the context you're trying to put it in. I don't know where you want it. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And when you say it, it's like there needs to be dialogue. They need to be talking to each other.
I never said it had to be dialogue.
Then tell me a way there doesn't need to be dialogue.
All you have to do is put in a sentence at their first instance of truly meeting each other, saying, this is when they learn about the two worlds. And then just keep going. That they're in communication often. But... Hold on, before you start, just...
Go ahead, keep talking. I'm not ignoring you.
Why is Hannah constantly talking about the boys and her periods?
She isn't constantly talking about it. She just remarks on it when it comes up. Because she remembers that there are these boys, and she's sending these feelings out to these other people that she's never met. Like, talked to.
So, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the next line. So as time passed, the boys forgot all about the girls.
Yes.
And the girls never forgot about the boys.
Yes.
Hannah learned that she was sending the boys her emotions. Uh-huh. She would often comment about how her new periods must be affecting them. They were, but the boys had no clue. The emotions were affecting the boys, but the boys had no clue. It seems as children we feel and look for others to tell us what we're feeling, but when their mother and their father became lost, they sent the boys to counseling. The counselor was also lost, but helped the boys to reckon with the emotions they were receiving, and that is until Izzy found her power. It happened when she was having a particularly horrific nightmare. Then, after Hannah wouldn't stop talking about the boys, she winched Otto, who panicked stepping out of his sister for the first time. Otto would never like the process of being shunted across the worlds, but eventually get used to it. Unlike Hannah, who was always along for the ride. Otto quickly learned to portal back home by opening a portal to the middle space they call Renner's Bladder, because if anyone's in there, he needs to pee. Otto and Renner spent countless hours entertaining themselves and their sisters in the bladder. This is when they discussed... You were going to say something, I forgot what wasn't right. This is when they discussed where they think...
Okay, take a break real quick.
Take a break? Why?
Because you're just like pushing forward, you're asking me half a question and then you just keep going. Like you're frustrated that I'm...
You're trying to put something in there and I don't know what you want. It's like...
But then you turn around and start typing or turn around and start reading.
It's because I realized... What do you want?
Okay.
I'm in the middle of a sentence, and I was in the middle of a sentence when you stopped me last time. And I've been trying to get that sentence in there to make it fit, because this is what you wanted.
It's not...
Do you want it somewhere else?
No, I don't want it somewhere else. I'm just telling you, as a person who reads, it seems like this is your natural place where they start talking. Because Otto was pulled over there. They're actual real people. There's a strange thing going on.
But it's like, I guess that's the problem, is that the situation that they need to talk about is so nuanced that simply talking isn't enough. I need to, describe what they're talking about. And to do that, you would use dialogue. You would say the words that they're saying so that the people can understand what they're saying. But I don't want to use dialogue because we haven't started the story yet. This is all preamble. But... Okay, so they would spend countless hours entertaining themselves and their sisters in Renner's Bladder, talking about the situation they found themselves in. Their parents often thinking they had left the house, only to appear in their room hours after the parents had been looking for them. Does that flow better? Is saying what you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I've been trying to do. I'm not ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you in favor of writing. I'm saying... I hear what you're saying. I need to get it on the page so I can figure out how it looks. I'm not trying to tell you you're doing anything wrong or push your thoughts away or anything. I need to write it. If I don't put it on the page, it's not going to go in. Is that enough though? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. When one day Otto pulled open the periscope and expanded it into a portal. Standing right in front of them was Izzy. This is literally before they start, too. Standing right in front of them was Izzy and Hannah, who were playing with two small creatures. We can go past this now. Because we got Katie in, then we're back to Katie. Okay. Katie put her hand in the portal oh, this is actually the beginning. This is where the story starts. There's the dialogue.
Not yet.
Yeah, literally after this paragraph. Two paragraphs. Katie put her hand in the portal. It was like nothing was there. When her hand slipped through safely, she stepped through to meet her new sisters for the first time. Uh-oh. Yeah, since we changed things, I gotta change things here. To meet Hannah and Izzy. Otto introduced her to Hannah. Oh, can't do that. Oh, man. Hold on. Oh my gosh.
What's wrong?
Read this paragraph. Katie put her hands to the portal like it was nothing and stepped through safely. Katie followed the conversation as the four discussed their situation and the power that came with their birth. Izzy explained that with a demonstration watching Hannah.
Right, they're explaining it to Katie, not to the boys.
The problem is they already did that. In
Not
this
to Katie.
thing you've been talking about,
But you did it as a sentence up there. This is more.
Oh, that was before Katie.
Yes.
That's what I'm missing. Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm lost.
How are you lost?
So, because the last sentence was Izzy and Hannah treating her like the sister they always wanted. And then the next sentence is about how they're meeting Izzy and Hannah.
Yeah, but this was still all before that, too. This is how you wrote it originally before.
Now I don't know what to do. Does it need to be changed? I mean, she's got... Is this like the scene of her meeting Izzy and Hannah that I just said? Because this is where the freaking thing starts. Renner's giving a butt of Advil. And going to the bathroom.
Let me...
That happens with Katie, is what I'm saying. And I didn't realize that until I got into it. I guess it can just continue because they're recapping with Katie.
That's what I thought it always was.
Okay. When Hannah stepped out of her sister giggling, Renner wanted to try, so Izzy winched him. Hannah's emotional state was fluctuating, and that's why Renner figured out where all those feelings had been coming from. They came from Hannah. Renner and Otto opened his bladder, and they all had a grand time playing in a space that was free from constraint. Renner found the tingling in his head to be stronger when his sisters weren't there.
Okay, so your idea was that the 5 of them all meet at once, originally.
I don't remember.
Okay, that might be what the problem was.
It might be. I don't know. It kind of fits still because where'd it go? Shoot. Yeah, I think it's fine. Otto and Renner were surprised at the feelings coming from Hannah, but they quickly grew to appreciate the stability of this one's emotional state, of Hannah's emotional state. I need to stop. What was one is there? Of Hannah's emotional state. The 4 of them met and talked every day in Renner's bladder, growing increasingly closer and enjoying the freedom it provided. That is, until high school ended. And after that, they finally graduated from high school and celebrated their 18th birthday. And that might actually be a good place to stop there. Nothing wrong with that, right?
No.
What happened there? Did I just lose it? Yes. Okay, so. The next day, when Hannah and Izzy's mother came home from D.C., something was wrong. Hannah knew instantly, Hannah knew instantly, and all of them could feel her fear. In response to the fear, Otto opened Renner's bladder and walked through, and then opened a portal to the girls' room. The girls were standing there waiting for them. Otto walked through and talked to them while Renner went to pee and grabbed some Advil. Otto was learning all about the intense feelings of fear Hannah was projecting. Then they led them to another room. What? What? Then they led him into another room? That doesn't belong there. I don't know what that is. But that's fine, right? Next day, Hannah and Izzy...
Okay, so...
The mother came home from D.C. Something was wrong. Hannah knew it instantly. All of them could feel her fear. In response to the fear, Otto opened Renner's bladder, then walked through and opened a portal to the girls' room. The girls were standing there waiting for them. Otto walked through and talked to them while Renner went to pee and grab some Advil. Otto was learning all about the intense feelings of fear Hannah was projecting. Okay. Does that sound fine? Is there anything wrong?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong, but I think this is about where we should pick up next, because...
Close to the end of the chapter.
I know.
Can we just do the chapter? Real quick.
Okay, we can do
push
this
through.
chapter real quick.
Renner walked back into his bladder and sat in an overstuffed leather chair with his face in the palm of his hands. A short round table on his right held the bottle of Advil and some peach juice in a glass. He let out a sigh, The party the night before got a bit out of hand. The room around him had an oak paneling that doesn't fit. Had an oak paneling with a dark green shag carpet. A simple room, save for the glowing portals instead of doors. So, whew. So there's the party the night before. If I said he let out a sigh because the party the night before got a bit out of hand, is the because better? It kind of fits. It doesn't feel right. But the reason why he's sighing is because he's got a headache from the party the night before.
I'm trying to see where that is. I can't see.
It's the second line after the edit.
Let us say the party the night before got a bit out of hand.
He let out a sigh representing that the party the night before had gotten out of hand.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. That sounds fine.
Okay. And then I go into the room and what it looks like. And the glowing portals instead of doors is a pretty dope statement. Move on to the next bit. Oh my goodness, there's still a lot though. Visible through the left portal is a different room where the two boys slept. It was messy, smelly, and most impressive of all, it was full of trophies and other awards, accolades that spoke strongly of Renard's character and Otto's natural abilities. On the opposite side of the room, the portal held a similar room, only cleaner and prettier. Various fencing trophies adorned Izzy's side, and on the other side, Hannah had pictures of friends and family all around her bed. Pockets sewn into her bedding. Hannah loved easily... That is not right. There were pockets sewn into her bedding because Hannah loved easily and a lot.
Why does the pockets mean that?
Her little creatures. She likes to make pockets for people. For a common apostrophe. That's why she loves.
I don't know. Okay, so...
Hannah loved the sugar gliders easily and a lot. That's why she has the pockets. If I put common apostrophe.
No, because it also fits to her pictures of her family.
Yeah, that's why it was there, really. That's why the pockets sewn in the bedding is out of place, it feels like.
I don't know why you would sew pockets into your bedding for the sugar gliders.
Like if it's hanging off the bedding, they can get into the pocket there.
Yeah, but that's...
climb up.
I would be scared to let them sleep in there while I'm...
They would sleep in the cage. They wouldn't be sleeping in Hannah's bed. But like when they're out and about. So
you could do pillows with pockets.
Why is that? I like the idea of it hanging off the bed. But the pillows can have pockets too. She sews pockets on everything. Both the girls do it. In fact, I could just say pockets sewn into all the bedding. All the bedding. Both their bedding. You know, because she just wants to sew pockets for the little guys to go be in the pocket.
So why don't you say, on the other side, Hannah had pictures of family and friends all around her bed.
I just said pockets sewn into all the bedding for common apostrophe.
Yeah.
That's fine, right?
That's fine, yeah.
All the bedding, though. Because it's like, not just Hannah's.
Yeah. Oh, you tell him. A little snort, snort.
Nad. The two ladies stood with their backs to the portal saying something inaudible to Otto before one of them turned around and stepped through. Hannah's brown hair was in a ponytail. Oh, I'm moving things on. and was wearing a bright yellow sundress that made the warm, loving smile all the brighter. She walked over to Renner wearing a... Oh, interesting. That's where I was going to put Renner's clothes. I don't know why that matters. Handsome. We walked over to Renner and put her arm around him consolingly. "You doing okay, Renner?" she asked, knowing it was harm for him to hold so much in his bladder. Bunker, the giant Russian bear dog, leapt through the portal and made its way to the large, comfortable bed that had been there only moments ago. What?
That hadn't been there.
That had not been there only moments ago, meaning Renner created it on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Renner smiled as the pressure in his head was slowly rebuilding. "I'm getting used to it, Hannah," he said, letting out a giant smile, his headache dissipating briefly from her uncanny ability to make the four of them generally happy. Renner's twin came from the ladies' bedroom. Otto, who was not unlike Renner, could be sorry, muddled up these words. Otto, who, not unlike Renner, could be compared to Adonis if Adonis needed glasses and liked loose-fitted clothing. Izzy, Hannah's twin, greeted him as Otto. Let me try that again. Izzy, Hannah's twin, greeted Renner as Otto closed the portal, relieving Renner of his headache temporarily. Izzy was wearing jeans with a black top under a black leather jacket. She was standing next to Otto. "So, Otto, tell Renner what you saw," Izzy said. Otto looked down, the worry plain on his face. "I saw her standing next to a bunch of military officers. She was talking about how she was trying to open a portal permanently." Otto stopped for a moment as the realization hit him. "Renner, that's me. I can open portals permanently," Otto said, worry turning into panic. "I don't think she knows that," Hannah said, hoping to ease his fears and bring him back. "It worked," and Otto smiled. "You guys can't go back," Renner said regretfully. "We will go in and pack as much as we can, grab everything we can and put it in here, and then move it out." "You're not touching our stuff," Izzy said, leaving no question to it. "What if," Renner started, but was cut off by Hannah saying, if Otto goes, then he can get grabbed by Mom. Oof. If Otto goes, then he could get grabbed by Mom. Or by whatever Mom is. And then she'd have exactly what she needed. "But we can take Bunker," Izzy said, as she sat next to her, giving her a giant belly a vigorous rubbing. After Bunker got up and followed diligently after such great belly rubs. Her love for the girls seemed to be just as strong as the boys. That needs to be fixed. She was putty in Izzy's loving hands. You find anything wrong with this?
There's a bit that needs to be smoothed over. There's quite a bit. And
is it the dialogue?
Well, so you've said at one point you said Izzy, Hannah's twin. By this point we already know that.
It's true. So I could just say Izzy greeted her. Renner.
Yeah.
I need to fix that too. Geek it. Izzy greeted Renner as Otto closed the portal, relieving Renner of his headache temporarily. Izzy was wearing jeans with a black top under a black leather jacket. She was standing next to Otto. "So, Otto, tell Renner what you saw." Okay, so that's good. I mean, does Otto's dialogue look good?
So far, everything looks good as far as dialogue.
And the expressions that the faces are making, like the idea of how they're feeling in the moments there, like the worry that Renner has, and the connection between Bunker and Izzy that shows up kind of suddenly, but it's there, and it was kind of always there.
Well, and then by this point in time, we've already established they've come in here often, they've talked a lot, and you're just reestablishing that Bunker loves the girls too.
Yeah.
So, like, it was never said in the what I would consider like the prequel to, or not the prequel, but the preface.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the preface and the first chapter and the preface kind of run together a little bit.
They do, and it stops. It stops because the scene that I'm writing here at the beginning is very brief. It's not enough to count as a chapter on its own.
Yeah.
Because of, I'd have to read on, because I don't want to spoil anything.
No, I understand that. And so if we could fix that.
I love that you're not touching our stuff, though. I think that's Izzy to a T.
Oh, yeah.
You're not touching us. There's no question about it. Get out of our space.
You are not touching our stuff.
Rinner's just trying to help. But I also fixed it because when Izzy stopped rubbing her belly and stood up.
Yeah.
Bunker got up and followed diligently after such great belly rubs. So that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think most of this is just polishing what's already there.
Well, what's already here is pretty close to done, I think. Okay, anyway. So we can stop there. That's a good oh my god. We can yeah. And then Izzy's gonna say some stuff and it's gonna start getting a little interesting. Alright. I have an emergency plan in case anything goes sideways. The three of them looked at Izzy, confused, mostly because Hannah was. Izzy took us out a small green and black cube with a red button on top. It was a simple device, left to her with simple instructions. How bad could it be? I got it from a dream. She put it back in her pocket, and the three of them looked at her in astonishment. It sounds like it really needed my help anyway, she explained as she went through the portal, followed by Bunker, then Hannah. The boys watched through the portal as the girls began the arduous task of collecting what little they could bring. Renner looked at Otto. Did he just say dream? Did she just say dream? Otto shrugged. He needs her help, I guess.
So right there, real quick, because I was reading ahead a little bit just to see if I can catch anything. Mm-hmm. He needs her help or it needs her help? Because that's what she said.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Good catch. The box needs her help, apparently. Maybe that's better. The box needs her help, I guess. There you go. So that's good. Other than that fixed that problem. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost here.
And there's stuff we could add to that to make
5 chapters would be insane. It's all day. God.
What else? We have no normal plans on Tuesday, so...
And maybe this just can be coming out every day for hours at a time. Oh. Okay, the first thing through the portal was a rather large cage, usually containing 2 little sugar gliders. The girls had named common apostrophe. Let's get rid of that. Right?
Yeah.
The cage was empty.
I have a question.
Oh, what?
So I'm curious. It's not so much a writing thing as so much as I want to understand a little bit better.
Part of the character or narrative?
Part of the portals.
Okay.
Can they not portal directly to the boys'? Or they do this as a safe place where neither side...
They do connect. They do that, but they already had it open. They were using it.
Okay.
The idea is that this started with Izzy and Hannah over here, and Renner and Otto in the bladder, and Otto went out to talk to them, and then came back in with them. Mm-hmm. Right? Because Renner went to go get to the bathroom and use pills.
Does he use the bathroom in his bladder?
No, there is no bathroom. He doesn't do that. No. He could, now that I think about it. Maybe there's something funny in dialogue in the future.
And does he need to be in the bladder for it to work?
No, it just has to be opened, and once it's opened, it's opened. And then they close it, and it's gone.
I see. So that's what I was curious about. I feel like they use this as a meeting place between the two worlds, so they're not really on either.
Well, this also comes in handy in the future.
Yes. Okay. You see why it was just a curious question.
Okay, so the first thing through the portal was a rather large cage usually containing the 2 little sugar gliders. However, the cage was empty as the ladies kept them in the various pockets that Hannah had taken the time to sew into their garments. Renner winced as it came through. Otto helped him put it through the portal into the boys' room. Izzy came through with the first load, of the life they were leaving, Hannah came through with the last. Just one more thing, Izzy said, just before hopping through the portal back into her room. Bunker was in the room by the door when it opened. Whoever was on the other side of the door saw the creature protecting the room.
You can get rid of the door. You can say whoever was on the other side saw the creature protecting the room.
Yeah. Just load. So we're here. Oh, there you go. She heard her father say, "Honey, are you okay? What's that in there with you?" Izzy asked Bunker to go back through the portal. Bunker walked over and sat by the portal. "It's just a friend pet. She won't hurt you." Expressing to her father that it was safe, the door opened slowly and cautiously until he saw Izzy standing next to a glowing portal containing his other daughter and two strange men in a nearly empty room. "What's going on, my little dragon?" he asked, afraid of the answer. Or the dog sitting by the portal. Either one. I gotta put that in there because that's funny. That's a funny statement. Izzy was holding back tears. "Dad, something's wrong with Mom. She's stopped acting like our mother yesterday, and it seems like you just can't see it. Izzy, do you really think that..." Oh, got distracted. Oh, what?
No, you're good. It's just, have they tried talking to Dad about this?
This is the only chance they're gonna get.
So they didn't try talking before.
If Dad doesn't see it, if Dad doesn't say anything, what are they gonna do? And now she's trying to grab at him to see if he sees it, and he's not. He's not seeing it. He doesn't know. He's naive. He trusts his wife.
Okay.
And he should. That's the worst part of it all, is he loves his wife, and he should trust her, right? Even if she is a sick and twisted alien.
Okay.
Okay. Izzy, do you really think it would do anything to hurt either of you? He pleaded, taking small steps, getting ever closer. "You don't think I'd do anything to you, do you?" he said, his hand outstretched in her direction. Izzy was crying. "Daddy, please don't grab me. Hannah and I are leaving," she said, taking one step closer to the portal. Bunker growled as he stepped closer. Izzy shooed her through the portal, and she obeyed, taking apostrophe safely to Hannah. "Please don't leave. My mother and I love you. We won't hurt you. Your mother and I love you. We won't hurt you," he pleaded. His pleading caught her heart. His pleading caught her just as he grabbed her by the wrist. His pleading caught her heart just as he grabbed her by the wrist and pulled her close. Izzy pushed him away threateningly. "I won't stay here if you don't let me go now. I will disappear and you will have nothing." As he was now in between her and the portal. "I can't let you go," he said, backing up closer to the portal. "You have to, Dad," she said, pulling the little box out of her sleeve and pressing the button. In an instant, she was gone. Otto quickly closed the portal, leaving Robert to a life left of worry and fear.
Okay, really quickly before...
It was the last sentence.
I know. I was waiting.
What are you going to do?
Okay, so...
There's a few things in there that could be smooth. You need to give these more space, too, when the dialogue changes.
So, right in the sentence that you're typing.
Yeah. "Daddy, please don't grab me."
Yes.
Hannah and I are leaving.
Say something about "please trust us." Or something to that effect.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't do anything... They wouldn't do anything to hurt their parents. They never have before. This isn't something they've done before. And then he does...
So if I say, "Daddy, please don't grab me. Hannah and I are leaving. Trust us like you trust Mom." Is that enough?
Maybe, yeah.
And you trust her, and she's trying to start a war. What are you doing?
But he doesn't know that.
No, he doesn't. He thinks the other side is trying to come kill him.
Uh-huh.
He's trying to protect his daughters.
He pleads with them again.
Mm-hmm. And she grabs him, which is his fatal error. He grabs her.
Yeah.
That's his error. If he hadn't done that, maybe they would still be talking. But she grabs the button and poof, gone right in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. That's the end of the... Well, that's not the end of the chapter. There's a little bit left, but it doesn't conclude anything.
And then worry, fear, and confusion. I wonder. You didn't grab enough.
Stop here.
No, you're in the... Yeah.
Uh-oh. There we go.
I think that's all that needs to be added to that is worry, fear, and confusion. because this is kind of out of the blue for his girls.
Yeah. There's no N in... Well, there's no N at the start of confusion. Confustian.
That's alright. I'll understand when I do some...
What do we do now? Renner asked as he came back into the boys' room with the last of the ladies' suitcases, where the battery had kept them and dissolved, and the portal closed behind them. Well, she is a winch. If she needs us, she'll reel us in, Hannah said, almost prophetically, consoling common apostrophe in her pockets.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it too. She's the winch. It's funny because it has another term. Winch means something else.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, what is it? What is a winch? Like, it's such a old term from, like, medieval times, right? And it's spelled... Not spelled the same. No, it's E-N-C-H. W-E-N-C-H.
Yeah.
It's not the same word.
It's like the...
I'm gonna Google it. I gotta know what winch
the bar
is.
lady at a tavern.
Or am I spelling it wrong, and this is how you spell that one, too?
Oh, scroll up. What are you doing?
A girl, a child, or a servant. All the same stuff. It's just the same stuff. Girl, a child, or a servant.
It can also mean a buxom young woman, usually a barmaid, servant, girl, or...
See, that's the word. That's the word that concerns me. I don't want that to be tied to poor Izzy. But maybe that has something to do with her future.
What? Ew.
No, the future is dark.
Yeah.
The future is not good.
Yeah.
That's after this book, so... It was used from the 13th century to refer to a woman, often a prostitute. It was not originally an insult, but rather it meant someone warm-hearted. It's also used as a euphemism for prostitute. Do you know what that is?
Facetiously.
Facetious. What does that mean?
Facetious.
What is facetious?
Facetious.
What does that mean?
Facetiously. Fudge nuggets. That's what it means.
It means in not a serious way.
Treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor.
Yeah. That's treating a serious issue not seriously. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Glib. Flippant. Anyway, that's one chapter at least.
That's one chapter.
Thanks for listening if you're listening.
And I think there's some bits in there that maybe I can smooth over.
Oh, we'll get into it again. But join us again for chapter 2. Thank you for listening. Love you. Bye.